Having avoided the worst of the winter weather in this area, I've decided to get out and welcome in December. Thanks for joining me in this Journeyman's Tales. Well, as you can see, it is absolutely flat calm out there. I mean, I think we've avoided really the worst of the weather in this particular area. We had the high winds and the cold temperatures for the last couple of days. In fact, it was freezing last night by all accounts from the boys that were fishing. But the next couple of days it's supposed to be warming up tomorrow. It's supposed to be in double figures again. So I'm out and about. Not a huge amount of fish been coming out, and not a huge amount been showing, but the word on the street still is that they're not holed up anywhere. They're still around. The odd sighting that has been, they've been quite spread around the lake like they have been for the last few weeks. So they haven't really sort of dropped into winter mode yet. The pressure's not ridiculous, so they shouldn't be crying out for zigs, at which I'm pretty pathetic. So I'm back on a swim. Weighed the 30 the other couple of weeks back now. So and there's people sort of kind of spread all around really. So I'm quite happy where I am. I've had a decent fish here before. It's a swim that produces fish, but it doesn't get fish particularly often. I think it's, there's a list of going swims as there is on every water that sort of disappear quickly, and being so far away from the syndicate, you don't get a chance to get on them very often. But I'm happy where I am. It's produced here. I've kind of carrying on from where I've left off basically. I'm got 3 rods going out diagonally across from left to right, left being the closest to me, and I've just put 6 of my balls over each one. So I've got 3 of the TTs, 3 squid and orange out there on each one. I've got left hand rod and the right hand rod are on the that's a lie. The left hand rod is a TT Snowman with the squid and orange pop up. The right hand rod is a TT Snowman with the Indian Spice pop up, and in the middle of them is a TT pop up on a hinge stiffy. I mean, I know I'm fully dressed for winter, but it is incredibly warm at the moment, and it's supposed to get warmer through the night. We've got a little bit of cloud. As long as that stays, it'll be good. Keep the frosts away, but we're not supposed to have. And there's just kingfishers gone flying past. Always a good sign. Good place to be, I think. Really looking forward to this. Well, good morning. It was certainly a quiet night fish-wise. Certainly for me. I don't think anything else came out up this end of the lake. I didn't see any lights on at any point. I didn't spend most of the night awake, unfortunately, as I have a tendency to do. The anticipation beats the sleep. But I did drop off, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning for a couple of hours. But the wind picked up in the night, blowing in from the west, which is good, but it was straight in the bivvy. I thought the bivvy was going to take off at one point. I had to go around pressing all the pegs back in. And now as I'm talking to you, the swans are about to attack the rods right in the margins here. But I think I might have to ring the changes a bit later on, put something a bit more eye-catching out there. Maybe on a single basis, put a few more balls out. But another cup of coffee and give it some thought. As you know, of late I've been feeding these PVA balls of bait as opposed to just bombfuls of bait going out there. And as the water temperature's dropping off, I thought I'd try the Fox Fast Melt. Now, I used the bags a Christmas ago at Blackthorn Fishery, and they worked okay. So I thought I'd try the mesh. I didn't know they did a mesh, but they do a mesh. So I thought I'd give the mesh a try, which is what I'm using on this trip. But I thought I'd give it a test, totally unscientific test, in a bucket at home and compare the melt rate with my usual PVA, which is the Carp craze stuff. Now, I've heard on the grapevine that people have had trouble with the Carp craze, it laddering. Yeah, it can be a bit fiddly to get it on to the dispenser, but once it's on there, it's all right. You lose a couple of inches maybe, but gosh, I thought if that was tricky, the Fox one was even worse. I was getting really frustrated with that one laddering. But once you've got it on, it's okay. Once it's fully loaded, you might lose a bit. But anyway, I'm using the Fox mainly because I bought it. Otherwise, I would continue with the Carp craze, to be perfectly honest. Well, it's just coming into early afternoon and I'm putting another 6 balls over each rod and refreshing all 3 rods. Well, it's taking a bit longer than I hoped it would because this flaming Spomb is not opening a lot of the time for some reason or other. I'm going to have to do a bit of filing and develop a hair trigger. Anyway, that's the afternoon plan. I won't do anything now till one of them goes roaring off. Well, the wind and the rain is now blowing into the bivvy. There's nothing like Saturday chicken stir fry to cheer you up. All cooked in the Ridge Monkey. fresh, healthy as you like. Good morning. If there was ever a time to catch a fish, according to everything I've read and everything I've seen, last night was it. There was a blustery, strong westerly wind, southwesterly, westerly, blowing straight into the bivvy. Not heavy rain, but drizzle enough to enforce the bivvy door was shut for most of the night. The pressure had dropped right down from 1,013 to 996 or something. Wasn't cold. As I said, from everything I've seen, everything I've read, it was perfect. Terry Earn would have loved it. He'd have had them crawling up the rods. But apart from getting the odd bleep from the gust of wind, absolutely nothing. Well, sadly, I've got to bring this blank to an end. I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody who's got involved of late with their comments and subscribing. It's been absolutely fantastic and very supportive and very much appreciated. Thanks for joining me on this Journeyman's Tales, and I'll catch you all again as soon as I can. Cheers for now.